Wake up. In June, this past year, I got to meet my favorite artist of all time. I got to talk to her face to face, eye to eye, show her my art and my gratitude for her. Since then, my entire summer has been absolutely crazy. I've seen more incredible shows than I ever have in the past few months. And I got to meet my second favorite artist, Elohim, just a couple weeks after meeting Allison. I got to see Subtronics' headlining show at Red Rocks, Allison again at the Shrine in LA, got to work hard summer and see some of the best sets I've ever seen before, while once again see Allison headline day 2 of the festival. Finally saw Zed's Dead twice that weekend for the first time in my life. Even got to meet Laidback Luke, who was one of the first that originally inspired me to even start DJing. I was at the very front for Allison's headlining show as her alias, White Fang, and saw her life-changing show at Red Rocks for the second year in a row. And of course, my car and my museum-worthy collection has been growing at a rapid rate. So I think it's time that I share my story and the reason why these women inspire me so much and have honestly changed my life and the way that I think.
Now I'm pulling my car around because Elohim wants to see it.
That was so fucking sick!
So the real story starts when I was actually just a little kid. For those that don't know, I started skateboarding at the age of 12. I was so passionate about it. It's literally the only thing that I did 24/7. I was extremely inspired by people like Jamie Thomas, Chris Cole, Andrew Reynolds, Eric Ellington, Corey Duffel, just to name a few. I was raised in a very small Christian school, so I was pretty much the only skater at the whole school. I think the isolation of that made me have this persona and act like it was a real job. I kind of thought I just was doing something way cooler than anyone else. And the amount of dedication and passion that I had for it, I actually got really, really good. And I skated for a long, long time. But at the time, my whole childhood, I always thought that this was a sport only for men. I think society kind of brainwashed us into thinking that this was something that women just can't do, even if they tried. For so many years, there was only one female everyone knew of, and that was Elisa Steamer. Other than that, you never really saw a girl skateboard. And it really is a dangerous and brutal sport. But then something huge happened about 5 years ago. I was browsing on Instagram and my entire world flipped upside down because that's when I found out about Sky Brown.
At 13 years old, she is reigning supreme.
Sky has so many tricks.
This little girl is absolutely killing it and breaking down the boundaries of what I thought I would never see in my entire life.
Sky Brown earning her very first X Games gold medal.
Women's skateboarding became a part of the X Games, and in 2020 officially became part of the Global Olympics. I just thought to myself, this is crazy, yet so inspiring. This completely exploded the skateboarding world that I thought I knew. Finally, and shockingly, there is now equality in the skateboarding industry.
Girls think that they can't do what boys can do sometimes. They can do anything that boys can do.
All right, so we got Sky Brown here today, and she's gonna jump the mega.
Old guy coming through.
Crazy.
Yeah!
So like I said in the last video, my whole life has been driven around art. As far as the music industry, 2015 changed everything and my whole perspective. I've gone to Coachella every single year since 2013, but it has always been male driven. And Coachella 2015 was shocking because I really noticed that there was, for the first time, a huge female presence and representation in that year's lineup. My campmates that we were next to, they're Canadians that we made friends with, and one of the guys told me, hey, you should go check out Alice in Wonderland. She's dope. She spins like this weird trappy stuff and she's from Australia. And so he's like, no, you have to go check her out. And so I did. Turns out that was Allison's first show ever in the US. I didn't even know who she was.
Well, Coachella was like the first proper thing I played in the States.
Hi, I'm Alice in Wonderland and I'm feeling nervous at Coachella because I'm about to play. So there's that.
You know, I think that year really paved the way for a lot of future women in this music. Rez, Whipped Cream, Anna Leno, Taki Monsta, Miha, Jessica Otterfred, Lucy, and most importantly, Elohim.
Elohim, who I brought on tour last year, is amazing. She's so cool. She's like a real artist, and absolutely love her.
Wake up.
Do you have anxiety? I have anxiety. Anxiety. Hello, I'm Elohim.
Hi.
I remember in 2010, I had my first panic attack. And at the time, I didn't really know what it was. I was in a store trying to buy a skateboard at the mall. And waiting in line, all of a sudden I started freaking out so much to where I had to leave the store and run out of the mall. And I had no idea what was wrong. I thought there was something wrong with me, and I didn't know what it was. And I kept having that for the next few years.
It wasn't until my 20s that I was like, oh, this is, and seeing a therapist, and I'm saying, you have severe anxiety and you go through dissociation. It's that same thing where you're just like, no, not me.
This is the playground that I grew up on. A lot of my memory is pretty lonely here, actually. This tire right here, every day for recess and lunch, I would sit in this tire and I would stay here until the bell rang and go back to class. It's crazy to think about because I've literally just been dissociating my whole life without even knowing it. Seriously, if it wasn't for the people in my life, I honestly don't know how I would have survived in this thing called life. All the people that mean so much to me, all the people that inspire me, and every person that has made an impact on myself that I will cherish to my grave.
Coachella, y'all ready?
What do you think?
So cool! I can't believe this!
Alright, so we have the CBD drink.
This is Elohim and this is Mark, and we are about to do a drink review for this CBD drink called Koi. Love it. Let's go ahead and get right into the review. Cheers!
Yes, let's do it. What do you think?
Ooh, it's very nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mine's very berry.
It's a bit sweet, but it tastes great. I love it. Thank you.
Cool.
Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in.
Oh yeah, thanks for tuning in.
I feel understated, like I'm all in black. Got a good buzz going, and I'm good with
I've been in the hospital multiple times actually, for anxiety, before I knew what it was. Many times where I went in because I couldn't breathe, and I literally thought I was seconds away from death. I've never felt so alone and confused and worthless. Doctors came in and did tests and said, "You have no reason to be here, you're fine."
My parents were like, what is kind of wrong with her? What's going on? You know, what is this? And, you know, later in life I started to realize, and
Honestly, if it wasn't for Elohim, I would probably still be confused and wondering what's going on in my head. She really taught me how complex being a human truly can be. None of us are perfect, and every one of us are uniquely different. We all have our own struggles, and it's okay that we express ourselves in many different ways. My dad always taught me whatever the mind can believe and conceive, it can achieve. I think it's really important to always stay true to yourself, find inspiration, and be inspired by anything and everything you possibly can grasp. And never let that inspiration die. And if you could do that, you could do anything.
Thank you, Los Angeles.